5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
We start with a developing story out of Las Vegas where there are multiple victims after a shooting at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. The suspected shooter is now dead. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
I'm Kelly Jackson. The sheriff hasn't said how many victims there are, but says there are at least 3. Sources tell NBC News that multiple people are dead. Police got a call for an active shooter on the campus just before noon. Again, the suspect is dead and the threat on campus is over. Police have not identified that person and are still looking into the motive. Tonight, we are hearing from students who were on campus when they got an alert telling them to shelter in place.
Cops lined up going in, some in threes, some in multiple pairs, moving towards the student union because we were told that the shooter was right in the student union area section. That's literally one building over from us, so we were really nervous. So we barricaded all up and I started watching the windows with a couple other kids to just see what we could see, and we saw students running out in single file lines with their hands up, scared, and we saw officers going in little groups. So that's about all I saw. So.
Again, we still don't know how many people are dead or hurt. We'll continue to follow this story on air and online. You can also watch more coverage on NBC Nightly News.
Right now in East St. Louis, officers are investigating 2 deadly shootings. They happen about a block away from each other, and police believe they are connected. Tonight, we've learned new information about the crime, including a first look at the suspected shooter.
Justina Coronel was at the scene earlier today. She's in studio with the latest. What did you learn, Justina?
Well, Mike and Kelly, I spoke to one of the victim's family members, and he said to me, my brother was murdered. Multiple law enforcement agencies were still on the scene today trying to connect the dots.
The police department, they are doing as much as they can.
As the chairman of public safety and East St. Louis council member, the recent double shooting troubles Ryan Kaysen.
Robbery could be a motive. I mean, we just don't know. But as of right now, you know, the Illinois State Police and East St. Louis Police Department, they are investigating this.
What hurts even more, though, is Kaysen's connection to the case.
One of the victims was a friend of mine, went to school, graduated with him. Just a good guy, make you laugh every time, just a joy to be around.
Crime scene tape still wraps around poles on the 500 block of 14th Street as the community wraps their head around what happened. 5 on Your Side spoke with someone who lives in the area with home surveillance video of the crime. We're choosing not to show the actual shooting, but we did review the entire video. It shows the man on your screen fire into a car where the victim, Danielle Braddox, was in the driver's seat. Later video shows the same suspect return to the scene and look back into the vehicle with the victim inside. He then walks away toward the bus stop. At some point in the same time frame, witnesses say the same suspect went down the street to a nearby home where police later found Sanchez James dead from a gunshot wound. Illinois State Police tell 5 on Your Side they believe both shootings are connected.
Why do we feel like it's okay to pick up a gun and kill somebody?
Robert Easton III, former mayor and longtime East St. Louisan, knows the ripple effects of violence.
You're just not impacting those 2 lives, you're impacting the whole community when you do things like that.
The 2 community leaders want big changes for their small community.
I know that we, a small community, we need to work together and try to figure out this problem, this issue.
Anyone who witnessed this shooting or has any knowledge of the shootings is asked to contact the Illinois State Police by email. Witnesses can remain anonymous. Now, you can find that information and email on our website, KSTK.com, under the section As Seen on TV.
A man is in custody after police say he broke into a woman's home and sexually assaulted her. This happened yesterday in Belleville. Police say the suspect forced himself into the home and attacked a woman in her 60s. She is now getting medical treatment. And the assault, police say after the assault, police say the suspect stole the victim's car and crashed it in Springfield, Illinois. Police say this appears to be a random attack.
This is kind of a worst nightmare type scenario for a victim, particularly a female victim of crime. This suspect is a dangerous individual.
Suspect was taken to a hospital and is now in police custody in Springfield. He will be taken back to Belleville when he's released. Police have not identified him since charges are still pending. He is also a suspect in some felony cases out of Missouri.
The St. Louis County Council is at odds tonight with the county executive over its 2024 budget. One big focus, funding for the Shot Spotter program, which uses gunshot detection systems to alert law enforcement.
5 on Your Side's Diamond Palmer is live outside the St. Louis County Government Building in Clayton, and Diamond reports on what residents and county leaders think about this proposed budget. Diamond.
Well, Mike and Kelly, residents and county leaders are split on the issue of allocating $718,000 to the ShotSpotter technology. In St. Louis County, prosecuting attorney Wesley Bell and the Ethical Society of Police are just some of the county leaders that are speaking out for and against this proposal. Now, during their Tuesday night St. Louis County Council meeting, members introduced a counterproposal budget to the county executive Sam Page's 2024 budget cuts. Their budget would restore $718,000 in funding for the county ShotSpotter systems, a program that Page's proposal eliminated from the county budget. The overall counterproposal would cut Page's budget by $14 million to a total of $580 million that would, quote, help a structural deficit. I spoke to one resident in Clayton who says she's lived in the county for nearly a decade and wants to see the technology get the funding.
I think it's a better use of our money to do things that are proactive rather than reactive. So if we can go ahead and allocate a little bit of money to make sure that police officers are where they need to be in order to make sure that we can reduce crime here in St. Louis County, that is an incredible way of using money, even if it's just a little bit for the time being.
Now, the St. Louis County Executive Sam Page has sent us a statement saying, in part, we're reviewing the proposed changes to understand the impact on county government. Of course, the full vote will be next Tuesday. Reporting live here in Clayton, Diamond Palmer, 5 on your side.
St. Louis Circuit Attorney Gabe Gore is running for election to stay in office. The governor appointed him as circuit attorney after Kim Gardner resigned. There are 2 other potential candidates in the Democratic primary, local attorney David Mueller and former Alderman Mike Ross. Voters will decide on the next circuit attorney in November of next year. The term is 4 years.
It's the holiday season, and in Missouri, that means the government is sending you a tax bill.
Many viewers have reached out with questions or complaints about their personal property tax bill on their used cars. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, is here with some answers.
Yeah, Kelly and Mike, it's that time of year, so check the mailbox. The tax man cometh. One of the biggest questions we're seeing is, do I still have to pay personal property taxes if my car was stolen? And that's a surprisingly large number of people in the city. The answer is yes. If you declared your vehicle as part of your personal property back on January 1st, state law says you owe your local government a tax as if you owned it the full year. There is no allowance in state law for stolen or for wrecked vehicles. And St. Louis police crime stats show more than 5,500 stolen cars this year alone. Another question we're seeing a lot of, if used cars depreciate in value, then why is my personal property tax going up? The assessor told us that's because the snarled supply chain that starved car makers of those computer chips and drove car values higher, that effect continues to put upward pressure on many personal property taxes too, simply because the market value for those used cars remains higher than you might otherwise expect.
We have no discretion in what these values are. The way these values are determined is we're required by Missouri statute to use the NADA, the National Auto Dealers Association Valuation Guide. We simply take your VIN number, we input it into the system, and it shoots out a value. So the city has zero influence on what those values are.
So while the local government collects the tax, it's the state that effectively sets that rate. It's now becoming an issue of debate in the race for governor. We'll have reactions from the Republicans running for governor tonight at 6.